You wake in the dark, not frightened, alert. A clock you can't ignore ticks in your chest. There's a voice, quiet, insistent. Build it, now. You feel the weight of everything you could be and the cruelty of time. You have 30 days. The calendar is a countdown, a challenge, a dare. You don't have an office, you have conviction. You don't have a product yet. You have a problem you can't stop solving. This is not fantasy. It's a mission. Your first order, face the truth, strip your idea to bone, ask the hard questions. Who will die, metaphorically, if you don't solve this? Who will thrive if you do? You write one sentence, one line that proves your business must exist. If it doesn't, someone loses time, money, sanity. That sentence becomes your North Star. No fluff, no excuses. You set a single, brutal metric. If you can't hit it by day 30, you fail. And failure is a lesson in a diary you burn. You map the battlefield, not a business plan. A map of enemies and allies, customers, competitors, gatekeepers, weaknesses, opportunities. You draw one target, one person whose life changes if you win. You stalk their day. You learn how they breathe, where they search, what they hate, where they spend money. You craft one offer they can't refuse. The offer is small, dangerous. It solves one bone-deep problem. You price it in a way that forces decisions. Cheap enough to buy, valuable enough to believe. You sketch the funnel in charcoal strokes. Landing page. One email, one call to action, no pages of promises. You test the words on a stranger. If their eyes don't change, you rewrite. You prepare to make a promise and keep it. You build the engine. The engine is simple. A website that breathes, a payment method that works, an automation that protects you from chaos. You script the first message, a cold email that sounds like a whisper, a social post that feels like a dare. You record a short video. You don't sell in the video. You reveal a truth. You show the scar. Human trust is forged in daylight and shadow. You choose channels like weapons. One primary channel, two backups. You resist the urge to be everywhere. Focus is a blade. Sharpen it. You spend money like a surgeon. Small bets, measured risks. Every dollar is a soldier with orders. You set tracking. You will know which channels bleed and which thrive. Data becomes your confidant. You gather allies, not investors. People who will trade attention for value. A handful of early users. One mentor who tells the truth. One collaborator who does the work you hate. You pitch with hunger, not desperation. You trade favors that are fair. You accept criticism like currency. You iterate on the fly. The first version is raw. It is honest. You ship it on purpose. Flaws are part of the story. You watch reactions like a hawk. Praise is fuel. Critique is guide. You abandon what doesn't move markets. You double down on what wakes people up. You keep two rules: be ruthlessly useful, be impossibly clear. You launch into the night. Launch is not fireworks. It's a precision strike. You choose a day. You prepare content like ammunition. Emails queued, ads live, a landing page ready to take the hit. You breathe, you press send. The world responds in trickles, clicks, messages, a sale, shock. You don't celebrate. You analyze. Every conversion is a confession. You trace the steps back to the trigger, a subject line, an image, a single line of copy. You find patterns. You pour fuel on the patterns that spark. You drop what's dead weight. You keep iterating, hour by hour. You turn tiny wins into momentum. Momentum is seductive. You treat it like a fragile beast. You feed it consistently. You secure the citadel. Now the work is operational. Customer support that listens. Delivery that's dependable. A refund policy that feels fair and human. You set systems that trap error before it spreads. Automate routine. Humanize the rest. You document processes like spells, so you can summon them under pressure. You map cash flow like veins. You protect runway. You build a tiny team that can move like a predator. You interview with precision. You hire for the voids that slow you. You keep culture lean and lethal. People who move fast and forgive mistakes. You learn the art of saying no to requests, to features, to shiny distractions. Every yes must protect your metric. You scale the darkness into light. It's not magic, it's method. You identify the channels that made you. You put weight on them. Ads that convert, partnerships that echo, referrals that hum. You track unit economics like a crime scene. CAC, LTV, margins. If the math whispers danger, you stop. You reprice. You renegotiate. You optimize. You reinvest winnings. You prepare for the true test, retention. You make users come back. Your product becomes ritual, not a purchase, a habit. You lower friction. You increase benefit. You build hooks that are ethical and irresistible. By day 28, you see the shape of survival. By day 29, you either stand or you falter. Day 30 arrives, you stand or you learn. If you stand, it's not a miracle. It's the sum of brutal days. It's the narrow decisions you never stopped making. You look at the balance sheet, you look at your inbox, you count the people who will use this thing again and again. You count the ones you changed. You let the silence speak. A different sound now, not fear, a quiet hunger for more. Aftermath. You do not retire into comfort, you sharpen the edges. You plan for scaling without killing the soul. You build guardrails, you protect the culture, you hire slowly, you automate ruthlessly, you open new doors, one product, one vertical, one audience at a time. You remember the period of hunger, you review notes, you keep the one-sentence North Star. The world forks now. You choose, you double down, or you diversify. Either way, you move with intent. Finale 30 days was not long enough to become everything, but it was long enough to prove you could begin. You have a living thing now, not a plan on paper, a business that breathes at night. It will demand more than you imagined. It will reward more than you hoped. You learned the law of narrow focus, the law of ruthless iteration, the law of human obsession. And you learned this: when you build under pressure, truth arrives fast. It cuts through noise. It reveals what works. It destroys vanity. You stand in the dark again, but this time the dark is quieter, not empty, full of potential. You are not done. You are beginning. You close the day and already plan the next. 30 days changed nothing about your doubts. It changed everything about your actions. You made a choice, and the world began to answer.